Good day everyone, and welcome back to this channel. In this tutorial today, I'm going to be walking you through the process of how you can professionally sew a professional boutique ready joggers that sell fast. But before diving into the tutorial, I'm going to be walking you through the details of what you are expected to get at the end of this video. If you follow me step by step, you're really going to be getting the same results as I do. So if you are new to this channel, make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel and turn your notification bell. And if you are a returning subscriber, hey, I say a big thanks to you for always keeping it locked. Alright, so this is the international standard level joggers. As you can see, the drawstring waistband, it is actually torn from the inside out. As you can see how it is neatly, look at the zipper pocket, look at the second zipper pocket as well, and look at the ankle band, and everything is well balanced and neat. I'm actually going to be showing you the back side of these joggers. As you can see, look at it, look at the drawstring, look at the slits at the back of the joggers, look at the back pocket, well fixed with the zipper. And this drawstring waistband is actually one of the things you need to learn very well in this video. All right, so this is the inside of it. Look at it. The drawstring waistband is actually carved with the bias from the inside, as you can see. Then the pocket, it is made up of suit lining, and it is also carved with bias. All right, and here is the back side from the inside. It is also carved with a bias, and it is neatly presentable. So if you follow me step by step, you're really gonna be getting the same result as I do. So without further ado, let's get straight into the tutorial. So now this is my pocket facing. This is my zipper flyer one for pocket 1, pocket 2, and this is for the back pocket. So now the very first thing we need to do here is to start stitching our pocket facing onto the pocket lining. As you can see, the pocket facing, I've weaved the edge, as you can see. So I will start my sewing right away. So I'll be placing my pocket facing on top of my lining. As you can see that I leave an allowance of like 1 inch, so I will sew that on top of the lining. So I prefer sewing it from the back because that pocket facing is the material is actually draggy, and I don't want it to be disturbing my machine. So that's why I'm going to be stitching from the lining side. So I'll just make sure I follow the area where I place my pocket facing, just like this, as you can see. So I'll be turning it like this. As you can see that I'm using my hands to trace the edge so that I can get the actual position of the pocket facing. So I'll make sure my stitch is very straight and precise along the pocket facing so that I'm actually stitching the right thing. So I'll just stitch that to the end. I've actually stitched the first pocket, so this is the second pocket. So you are going to do the same thing on the second pocket. So this is the second pocket. I've actually done that already. So as you can see, that's the very first thing we need to do right here. So let me just put this aside, and these are my zipper flyer. As you can see that I've added a little some fleece at the back of it because the material is shaky and I don't want it to be dragging my machine. So that is BFF actually, so it's actually gonna give it a little bit of a stitch so that it won't be shaky on the machine. So I'll just stitch the edge like this. I'm stitching on the edge of the 3 zipper flyer just like this. So this is the second one, and I'm going to be stitching on the last one too. So I create that stitch because I will be folding this on top my my joggers pattern just like this. So I don't want it to be, you know, to be disturbing me. So that is why I lock the edge. All right, so the next thing now is to grab our front pattern. Just grab anyone. It might be the left side, it might be the right side. Just grab any of the pattern, and okay, let's do it. All right, I'm gonna be grabbing this. So okay, so I'll be grabbing this. So I will turn it to the wrong side like this. Then I will grab one of my pocket lining and I will place it right on it. All right, so make sure your pocket lining is facing up. Make sure it's facing up just like this. Okay, this is the correct one. So as you can see, this is the front side and the back side is actually facing each other. Then the front side of the pocket lining is actually facing up. All right, so I'll be securing this with some pins because I will be stitching from the front side. So I'll be stitching from the right side. So I'm going to be turning these over now. So in order not to make this thing to be shaking, that is why I pin it down. All right, so I'll be turning it over to the front side. So now as you can see, the back side of the lining and the back side of the fabric is actually facing each other, and the front side of the zipper fly of the pocket lining is actually facing my machine right now. As you can see that I've turned it over. So I'll be creating my stitch now. So I'll be placing one of my zipper flyer on top my fabric just like this. So I'll mark 2 inches away from the top, and for my pocket opening I'll be using 6 inches. All right, I'll be using 6 inches. This is a large jogger, so the pocket opening should be around 6 inches. All right, so now let me mark. Okay, here from the edge of the zipper flyer to where I make my 2 inches measurement, so I'll be marking 1/2 inch here. I'll be marking 1/2 inch. So on that 1/2 inch is where I'll be running my stitch. All right, so I'll mark 1/2 inch here. All right, so I'll be placing it like this. All right, make sure you're placing it correctly. So the distance of my zipper flyer to the edge of the joggers should be around 3 inches. It's actually gonna be 2.5 inches after we finish all our sewing and everything, because we'll be using 1/2 inch from it will be going for sewing allowance of the other parent. So the original measurement I need here is 2.5. So but this is 3 inches. All right, so I've added the sewing allowance with it. So I will just start my stitching right away. I'll make sure I'm following the mark that I make earlier, the mark of the 1/2 inch that I made earlier. So that is the line that I'll be tracing my stitch. All right, so let me just cut those threads, and all right. So now I'll trim off this edge, making sure I have just 1/2 inch excess. All right, so just 1/2 inch. So the next thing now that I'll be doing is to grab my zipper. So this is my zipper. All right, so I want to lock the edge because so that the zip won't just fly out when I'm trying to zip while sewing. So I'll just lock the edge like this. So this is my zipper now. As you can see, this is the head. So I'll be placing the right side of the zipper onto the right side of my fabric just like this. All right, making sure I'm having the distance from the stitch of the zipper flyer to the stitch that I'll be making now should be the same 1/2 inch that I make on the zipper flyer earlier. So if it's not up to that, I'm actually going to experience some issue, and if it is more than that, actually I'm actually going to experience some issues too. So it has to be the same inches. If I use 3/4 inch, it's supposed to be 3/4 distance here too, but here is 1/2 inch, so the distance here is also gonna be 1/2 inch. So I'll just run my stitch, making sure that the stitch doesn't exceed each other. All right, so the stitch on the zipper and the stitch on the zipper flyer shouldn't exceed each other. So there has to be the same thing because I'm gonna be opening it now. So I'll just open it like this, just notch it from the middle. All right, then I'll open it. All right, I'll just cut in between. All right, making sure I'm not cutting the zipper flyer from the beneath, and I'm also not cutting the zipper. All right, so I'm just using my hand to trying to trace it and create some. All right, so I'll just curve it like this. All right, then I'll curve this place too, making sure I'm not cutting the thread all right? Don't cut the thread. So if you cut the thread, you've actually messed up, all right? So I need to be very, very careful, and you also need to be very careful while doing this. So just cut this one too. Now curve it here, all right? Making sure I curve it so that my knot is actually going to the direction of the end stitch, all right, as you can see. But I'm not gonna cut that thread, so don't make that mistake. So once you've achieved that, okay, it's just a bit small, just a little bit, all right. I just remove those pins, and I'll be turning it over just like this, all right? So my zipper, I'll tuck it in, then my zipper flyer as well, I will tuck it over, all right? I'll just tuck them in like this. Let me just try, okay, tuck this one to in, all right? So as you can see, it's actually making sense, all right? So let's try to arrange it from the other side. So okay, you need to arrange it very well. So once you are satisfied, then I will turn it to the front side, then I will continue my sewing, all right? This is it. I'm just trying to arrange it very well. So once I achieve that, so look at that angle, you need to pull it out as best as you can, all right? So once you achieve that, then so I'll just lock it up, all right? So I will lock it up, and I'll make sure it's very precise, all right? So this is, just lock it, all right? All right, make sure this stitch is very tight, because that can actually make and break your pocket, all right? So if you do it very well, it's actually gonna make it, but if you do it otherwise, it's actually gonna break it, all right? So you need to be very, very precise with the stitching. So let me just arrange this and do the stitch on the second edge as well. So I will pull out this handle. Don't forget this handle, I'll make sure I pull it out very well, all right? So I'll be locking that part as well. Let me pull it out, okay, all right. I will make a precise stitch here as well, as you can see. So let me just reverse it very well. Okay, so there's it, all right? So I'll just trim off this. So I'll be leaving just a 1/4 inch here, just a quarter, all right? So a quarter, I'll trim it off like that. So now the next thing now is so as you can see that our pocket is actually coming out. So let me turn it over, and I'll be stitching up both the zipper flyer and the zipper from the inside now. So let me just arrange it very well and turn it to the wrong side. Let me trim off this, okay? Just trying to arrange it very well from the outside, then I will turn it. Right, so as you can see that I'm actually arranging this very, very well. So I will turn it, okay, all right? Let me turn it like this, then I will stitch both the zipper and the zipper flyer, all right? So that is what I'm doing now. Make sure you stitch it very well. So that will actually create we actually block, you know, my pocket to be leaking, all right? So if I forget to do this, man, you need to follow this step by step, and once you are able to omit one of the steps, you know, your pockets will actually, you know, won't actually come out very, very well. So but if you follow this process very well, and you follow it step by step as I'm doing it, so you're really gonna get the same results as I do. So the next thing now is to close up our pockets, all right? So just close it up just like this. So this is the almost the last process here, all right? I'll make sure I arrange it very well, and I'll make sure everything is balanced. Then I'll start my stitch way before the curve of the zipper of the pocket lining, as you can see, just right there, right? So I'll be, you know, the down part of the zipper flyer, the zipper, the pocket lining here, you know, I will pen that, till I finish all my pockets. So I'll be using bias to carve the edge off. So I won't be making stitch here, so but I will use bias to close the edge. All right, so and that is the international standard of making this type of a zipper pocket like this. So I'm done with this. This is our result. As you can see, it makes sense. All right, so that is for the first pattern. Then the second pattern of the the trouser, from the wrong side, the same process. So I actually want you to get this very well, so that is why I don't cut it. I'm supposed to cut this video off from here, so but I wanted to get it, so that is why I'm repeating the process now on the second pattern. So first thing, I turn it on to the wrong side, then I place my lining, then I'm actually securing it with some pins so that when I turn it over, it won't be shaky. And this is it, as you can see. All right, so this is my zipper flyer. So the same process that I did on the first one, I first of all mark 2 inches. So that is the distance from the hip line to where my zipper will actually be sitting. So my pocket opening here 6 inches. So then I'll mark my ½ inch. All right, I'll mark my ½ inch here, ½ inch. So you can actually use 3/4 inch, but you cannot use more than 3/4 so that your pockets will actually look great. So but ½ inch is the recommended measurement you need to use here. So I'll just place it as usual. So from this point to the edge of my fabric or my joggers, so 3 inches. So don't forget, I said it is 2.5. I'm gonna be arriving at 2.5. So after we finish all our sewing and everything, but here I'll be using 3 inches. So 2.5 inches. When if you take out 2.5 inches from 3 inches, you're actually gonna be getting ½ inch. So that ½ inch is what I'll be using to join my so when I finish joining my joggers, it's actually gonna result to ½ inch. So I'll just start my stitch as usual. So you can see now from the edge of the zipper flyer now to the stitch that I'm making now is ½ inch distance. All right, so and it's that same ½ inch that I'm going to be using for the distance of my zipper flyer and my zipper. So that's the next thing I'm going to be doing now. So let me just trim up all these the flying threads and all that. So this is the second zipper. So I don't forget to lock the edge. If you forgot to lock the edge, man, your zipper can actually pull off while you're sewing. All right, so as you can see, it needs to be ½ inch. If you have more than ½ inch allowance there, you need to trim it off. But here, this one is actually ½ inch, and I'm good to go. So from the first point, all right, as you can see that I start my stitch from the point that I made earlier. So your stitch shouldn't exceed that, and if it's actually exceeded, so you're actually gonna experience some a little issues, but not that big deal too, but you need to be very careful. All right, so just cut off the thread, and then I'll be opening it from the back side. All right, just trim it out. So now I'll just open it, just create a little notch here, then I will cut it. All right, just right, so I'll just open it, just make a notch. If you are really enjoying this video, make sure you give it a thumb, and if you've never subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe and turn on your notification bell so that you get notified whenever a new update drop. All right, so I'll just make a notch. The edge of this scissor is actually not well sharpened, so your scissors should be well sharp as best as you can. So it needs to be sharp as best as possible so that you won't mess up. All right, so I'll just do the same thing here. So we'll cover it like this. Just cover it. You need to be very careful. You shouldn't cut that thread, and so if you cut it, you need to restitch. All right, so it is better not to mess up. All right, so to be very careful. Just do it. I think it's okay. So let me take off those pins and let me tuck it in. I'll be tucking it in. Right, I'm tucking it in, then the zipper fly as well. So then I will go arrange it from the wrong side. Right, I'll make sure I arrange it very well. So once I'm satisfied, so let me, okay, right, okay, this is it. So when I'm satisfied now, so let me first of all stitch this place. Right, I'm actually stitching the zipper and the zipper flyer now. All right, so let me trim up this as well. All right, so I've made a mistake. I've skipped a step right here. You really need to be very, very careful. I've skipped a step. All right, so I'll show you now. So I've actually never stitch up this area. That's a mistake. All right, so I can still correct that. So let me just stitch it. Oh man, I forgot. So you need to be very careful, and that step you need to follow it one after the other. All right, so I'll be stitching, as you can see, I'll be stitching the other part as well. So I actually forgot that already, so that's what I'm doing now. So I just make sure I pull out that angle very well before stitching. So once I'm satisfied, then I'll just stitch it up. You stitch it up and you lock it very well. All right, so that it's not gonna break in the long run. You need to be very, very make a very, very precise stitch. So all right, so I'll just trim it off, leaving just a 1/4 inch. All right, so this is it. It's actually making sense. All right, so the next thing now is to cover up my pockets. All right about now I'll be covering it up just like this, just trying to arrange this very well. So once I'm satisfied, so I'll be running my stitch from the top to the down parts. And if you want to know how I cut these joggers, you can just go and check on my previous video on this channel. So I've provided you the step-by-step guide on how you can actually cut a professional joggers, the insider secrets of how you can come up with the best international standard joggers whatsoever. So was shared in that video. All right, so I'll just make sure I run this stitch. And if you are new to this channel, make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and turn your notification bell so that you get notified whenever I drop a new update. All right, so I'll just make sure this stitch is well straight and precise. I'll be stopping my stitch here. All right, so this is the same thing we did on the earlier, so on the previous jacket, on the previous pattern rather. So as you can see, the results, it actually makes sense, right? It makes sense. All right, so now let's move on to the back pockets. All right, I'm actually going to be repeating the same process on the back pocket as well, but I still want to show you guys how I do it. All right, so I don't want to cut any of those parts, so that is why I'm actually showing you. So as you can see, I created a little notch here and here as well. If you actually want to know how I the reason why I notched that area, man, you need to go and watch my previous video on how I cut these joggers. All right, so from that notch area, so I'll be creating a stitch from there to the second part. All right, so I'll just make a straight stitch as much as possible. All right, this is, then I'll do the same thing on the second pattern as well. I'm actually going to be top stitching that stitch, but wait first, let me just do this. Let me run the same stitch on the second pattern as well. All right, so I am actually stitching 1/2 inch away. All right, just 1/2 inch. it's actually in the calculation of the joggers when I was cutting it. So that is the reason why you don't want to miss that video. You really need to watch that video. All right, so just turn it over like this, then I'll be top stitching. As you can see, I'm actually top stitching it from the inside, so that I can get the accurate stitch as well as possible. So I just make sure I run this stitch to the end. Make sure you are not dragging these fabrics, because if you drag it, it's actually gonna create a womble effect on this pattern. So you need to let the stitch to run naturally. I'm actually using my hand to bend the stitch. So that is what I'm using my hand to do. It's not that I'm dragging it, and I'm not pulling it, and I'm not pushing it. All right, so just make sure the stitch run naturally without dragging the fabric. All right, so as you can see that I'm actually using my hand to bend the stitch so that I can achieve the top stitch that I want. All right, once I do that, so I'll be grabbing my left pattern. All right, so I want to create a back pocket now, and the back pocket, right pattern. I'll be grabbing the right pattern, the right leg pattern. All right, so that is, as you can see, the result of our top stitch. As you can see, it actually makes sense. All right, so this is an international standard joggers. All right, so this is my right leg pattern. So what I'll be doing here, so this distance from this top stitch, from this stitch to where my zipper will be sitting, I want to make it 2 inches. It's actually gonna be 3 inches if you measure from that place all the way through to the hip area. So it's actually gonna be 3.5 inches. 3 inches. I'm sorry, 3 inches. All right, so I'll just notch that area. But because I've made a stitch on the joggers already, so that is why I'm measuring 2 inches away from the top stitch. All right, so I will be grabbing my lining, the lining that I'm gonna be using for my my back pockets. All right, so this is the lining. All right, so I've actually talked about the measurement of this lining in my previous video, the wideness and the height, and the reason why I'm using this kind of measurements. I've talked about that in my previous video, where I talk about where I show you how you can actually cut a professional joggers. All right, so what I marked there is actually 2.5 inches away from the edge of the jogger. So let's consider I'm placing my lining, and I'm leaving like 1 inch distance from there. Right, 1 inch distance from the edge of the pattern. So right, so because this lining is not too wide, so the wideness is actually 9 inches. So that is why I did it that way. So the mark that I made now is where I'll be placing my zipper. But before then, my zipper flyer, I'll do the same thing that I did on the others as well. So I'll mark 1/2 inch from the edge. So on that 1/2 inch is where I will run my stitch. All right, 1/2 inch there too. All right, so I just place it like this, then I'll mark my 2 inches. I'll mark my 2 inches. So the wideness of the pocket opening for the back pockets is 5.5. It is back pocket, it doesn't need to be very wide, so I'm using 5.5. all right, so I'll just do the same thing that I did earlier. I will run my stitch on the 1/2 inch that I marked right now. So make sure that zipper flyer is very straight. So before stitching, make sure it's very straight, and make sure your stitch is actually well precise. All right, so I'll just run this stitch to the end. All right, I hope you are getting this step by step. All right, so if you like this video, please make sure you give it a thumb. So I will just cut off these threads. Let me cut it off. And the next thing that I'll be doing now is to be placing my zipper on top of the fabric. And don't forget, the same way we did it for the other pockets, the zipper, the front side of the zipper will actually be facing the front side of my pattern. Let me grab that zipper right there. All right, so the same step, I will lock the mouth of the zipper so that it won't put off by mistake. So just lock the mouth like that. All right, so now I will be placing, don't forget, the distance that I'll be sewing now should be ½ inch from the first stitch on the zipper flyer to the second stitch that I'll be making now. Should be the same ½ inch. So the front side of the zipper will actually be facing the front side of my trouser pattern, just like this. And I'll be starting my stitch from these very points, the beginning of the sewing that I did on the zipper flyer. So the stitch shouldn't exceed each other. All right, shouldn't exceed each other. All right, it should start on the same points and end up at the same point. So let me just zip this down a little bit. Okay, so then I will run my stitch to the very end. All right, so the next thing now, the same way we did for the other trousers, I'll be opening it from the back side. All right, so I will just turn it like this, then I will just make a little notch just like this, then I will open it up like this. All right, so just open it up, then I'll curve my scissors and bend it and cut it to the points of the sewing, just like this. This scissors edge is not well sharpened, so your scissors should be very sharp as much as possible so that you don't mess up. All right, so if you are not careful enough, you can naturally, your slits can actually exceed the end point of the stitching. So, and if that happens, man, you've actually messed up. So that is the reason why you need to be very careful with this. All right, so I will just put this and curve. All right, I'll just notch it to the points of the sewing. All right, just like this. You need to be very careful with this. All right, so this can actually break your pocket. In fact, it can actually break the entire trouser. All right, if you are not careful enough. I just do it this way, just careful. All right, so let me take off those pins. Take off this pin. All right, so let me turn it and I will tuck it in. All right, tuck the zipper in and the zipper flyer. All right, just tuck it in like this. So after this, now I will turn back to the wrong side and I will go and arrange it very well. All right, just like this. Just make sure it's well balanced. All right. Oh, this is a mistake. It's actually not supposed to be like that. All right, so the zipper flyer should be under and the zipper should be on top. All right, just like this. And let's see the results. All right, this is actually how it's supposed to look like. So the next thing now is to be locking the edge of the zipper flyer, both the zipper flyer and the fabric now. So I'll be locking the edge from the inside. So that angle, all right, if you remember that angle, I need to pull it out very well so that my angle will be well balanced. All right, so once I just hold it and I'll just lock it right there. Right, just lock it just like this. You guys can see that I'm actually reversing my machine so that I want the stitch to be very, very tight as best as I can, because if the stitch is not well tight, it can actually pull off and the trouser will actually be messed up. So I'll do the same thing here. Make sure you put it in very well. Right, once you are satisfied, all right, I think I'm just okay. Once I'm satisfied now, so I will do the same thing here. I'll make sure I arrange the zipper very well and pull out the angle. Right, make sure you pull out the hand very well so that the angle underneath will actually be very, very sharp. All right, so I'll just do the same stitch. Run my stitch like that. So as you can see, let me do it again. Okay, I think it's all right. So let's cut this off. All right, I've actually messed up that place. All right, so I think my iron I'm gonna be using my iron to correct that. So I think I've stitched more than what I'm supposed to stitch there, but it's kind of fit my trouser do. So the next thing now is to close up these parts the same way we did on the other pockets. All right, let me just try and arrange it very well. All right, so I will just stitch it like that. All right, so if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumb, and if you are yet to subscribe to this channel, please subscribe to this channel. All right, so I just lock it like that. All right, so this is actually our results like this. All right, so now the next thing is to cover up the pocket the same way we did. All right, the distance from my zipper to the end point of the pocket lining, I want it to be 6 inches. So the remaining 4 inches there will actually be going through my waistband. All right, so if you don't know how I end up in cutting all these things, you need to watch my previous video on this channel. So that is where I explain how you can professionally cut a boutique ready joggers. So you need to watch that video so for you to get acquainted with all the secret that I reveal in that video. So the next thing I'll be doing right here is if you remember, I pinned all my pockets. I never close my pockets from the downside. So this is I've actually that place, I've actually overstitched that area. As you can see, I've stitched more than what I'm supposed to stitch, but I'll use my iron to correct that. So my steam iron will actually flatten that area, so it's not a big deal for me. And let me close my pockets real quick before doing my bias stuff. So I will just close my pockets from the top, so in order to block any entry whatsoever from the waistline into my pockets. All right, so I'll just close it right here. So I'll just make my stitch. So I will after I run my stitch to the end. So now we're not gonna be doing our bias curve of a thing. All right, so let's do this. Just trim out the flying thread first. So I'll be doing this now. Right, that area is actually still fucked up, but it's not a big deal though. So the next thing I'll be doing there is I will be stitching my bias. I will run my stitch from the top first before fixing the bias. Let me just run my stitch into the pockets from the top to the end. Right, so this stitch will actually make my my pockets to stay firm. Right, so it will actually make it to stay firm, So because in the long run, stitches do break sometimes, so this stitch will actually secure, the it will secure the pockets from, breaking in the long run. So after this now, I will be fixing my bias curve. So the bias curve will actually make my pocket to be well presentable and well neat. All right, so let me just run this stitch to the end and see how we're gonna go about it. All right, make sure the stitch is actually, it's very very precise. And no, let me do one more step. All right, so wait, let me do one more step like this. Okay, so all right, I think it's going to make sense like this. So as you can see that I'm pulling up the pin that I used to secure the pocket bag. All right, so I'll just run my stitch all the way to the top. All right, and so after that, I'll be trimming off, these excess edges. So I'll just trim off. Make sure the trim off is actually very very close to the stitch. Right, so like a 1/4 inch. So I'm leaving a 1/4 inch allowance. Right, I'll just trim off all this, and I'll trim here as well. Just a 1/4 inch allowance. Okay, now so I'll be grabbing my bias now. As you can see, this is the front, so I will turn my my joggers pattern into the back side. So I'll be stitching from the back side. So after I finish my stitching, so I will now turn it to the front and top stitch, so that I'll be closing up the bias from the front side. All right, so let me just fix this bias and see. I'm fixing from the back side. As you can see, I'm actually fixing from the back side. All right, so I'll just place my bias, as you can see, and I will start my stitch right away. So keep on stitching. So we are almost at the end, and all right, so the next thing now is to be turning our bias into the front side and top stitch. Okay, see, as you can see that I've turned it back into the front and turn on the bias over, and start top stitching. Right, so just run my stitch all the way from the top, from the first point all the way to the downside and back to the top. All right, so just keep on doing this till I get to the end. All right. So after this, I will be, I'll be stitching this top area. I'll be stitching the top area in order to secure the pocket bag with the waistline. I mean with the hip line, so that when I'm actually fixing my band, my waistband, it's actually not gonna disturb me. So I'll just make sure I use this stitch to, secure both patterns together, right? So we've done with the back pockets now. So we'll be repeating the process on the rest of the other pockets that we made earlier. So I mean the pocket on the front side. So just grab it like this. Remember the process. First of all, create a stitch to secure the pockets. This is what I'll be doing now. I'll be doing this from the wrong side of the pocket. All right, so just run your first stitch. So this stitch will actually secure it will secure the pockets from stitch breaking in the future. All right, so this is the initial stitch you are supposed to do on your pocket. All right, so after that, I'll be fixing my bias from the wrong side. As you can see that I'm actually fixing from the wrong side. All right, so make sure you are actually fixing it from the wrong side. All right, so I just place my bias just like this. The same process we did on the back pocket, so we're gonna be repeating the same process right here. So the same process we did here, it's gonna be the same process we'll be repeating on the other pockets. All right, so I'll just fast this a little bit. Make sure you are actually your stitch is actually well precise, and make sure your bias is well placed on the pocket. All right, so as you can see, that curve area, you need to make it curve as best as you can. All right, don't rush. You actually not need to rush, so you can actually achieve a good result. So So that is that about that. So now the next thing we'll be doing right now is we'll be creating our invisible zipper flyer in front of in the crotch side of our joggers. So this is it. Place your pattern like this and place the second one on each other. Make sure the right side is actually facing each other, just like this, right? So I will start my stitch from the very point of the end of my crotch. As you can see, the front side must face each other. So I'll be starting my stitch right from these points. All right, make sure it is well balanced and aligned. So I'll just carefully run my stitch just like this. All right, so I'll be following the curve and make sure the curve is well sharp, right? So make sure you let me arrange this area very well, right? So then I will continue my stitch and stop right before the flyer. All right, so just reverse. I will lock my stitch there, then I will come to the top area and create, I'll be securing this from this line. I will trace this line to the top, then I'll just create a few stitch of my okay, let me measure here. So this is 2 inches, so I'm using 2 inches for this jogger. The 2 inches distance is what I'm using, so I'll just lock that area with a little step of my machine. So then I'll be turning it over now. As you can see that stitch will actually secure the flyer just like this. All right, so I'll be securing my zipper flyer with some stitch. As you can see, I will just run my stitch from the top to the very end of the zipper flyer. If you're familiar with our corporate pants like corporate trouser and jean trouser that we always use zipper and other stuff, you'll see that this area is where we actually always fix our zip and all that. But in these joggers, I told you in my previous video why I was explaining how to cut these joggers. So this zipper flyer will actually be closed. So this is what I'm doing. It's closed now. It's not as if it will open. There won't be any form of a zip there, but it will just be there as a design. All right, so and that is what I'm just doing right now. So let me just remove this point first. All right, so this is it. I've actually gone to the weaving machine and weaved the edge of my zipper flyer. As you can see that it's actually neat and it is well presentable. And the next thing to do right now is to be securing this flyer with some stitch. All right, so I'll be turning my joggers. I'll be doing that from the wrong side. All right, I'll be doing it from the wrong side because you can actually do it from the front side, but I prefer doing it from the wrong side because of the curve and all that, so that the curve will be well sharp as much as possible. So this is what I'll be doing now. As you can see that this zipper flyer is facing my left side, and you can do it either way around. You might make it face your right side or anywhere. So but for me, I love making it to face my my left side. All right, so just like this. So I will just run my stitch on the edge of the weave area. All right, so if you want to get acquainted with all the measurements, I've talked about the video that I made earlier. So that video is where I show you how you can actually cut an international standard joggers, be it for male or female. So you can actually go and watch that video so that you get acquainted with all the secrets. I've revealed all the secret there, so you have to go and watch. So if you have anything whatsoever you want to ask in the comment section, make sure you drop your comments and I'll make sure I give you a solution with it. So you can see now that I've run my stitch all the way to the end, and I'm gonna show you what the result is gonna look like. As you can see, that is it. As you can see that it's actually making sense. All right, so it's not as if we'll be fixing zipper. So that is how it's really gonna look like. So I'll be joining my patterns together. I'll be doing that behind the scene. Alright, so this is it. I've actually joined all my patterns together. I just left the buttock area because I have some kind of explanations that I want to make here. So as you can see that I've weaved all the edges after joining, and I've weaved all the edges. As you can see, it's actually neat. So look at the other side. So you can see that I've weaved everything, and I only left this area because of the explanations that I want to make. So before closing the buttock area, I need to be sure of my hip measurements. The hip measurement of these joggers is actually 42, and as you can see that my patterns or my joggers is actually folded into two parts like this. So that's 42 divided by 2 will actually give us 20.1 inches, right? So from there I'll be stitching my my buttock area. Make sure these pleats that we make earlier, make sure the bolts align on each other first thing. All right, so once it's aligned, so I will be securing that area with some stitch. All right, let me do that so that it won't so that the slits will actually lay on each other. It's not gonna make sense if it intersects, but once it lay on each other, your joggers is actually coming to an international standard level. All right, so let me just remeasure the hip area. So the hip is 42, and this is 20 and a half. So 20 and a half times 2 is actually give us 42 inches. So from there I'll be running my stitch all the way from the top to the to the crotch area of my buttock. All right, so I'll just run my stitch like this. Make sure your stitch and the stitch that I make earlier, make sure they both fall on each other before curving it. So the remaining excess that you are seeing over there after the stitch, I'm actually going to be trimming it off. So I'm actually going to be trimming it off. If you watch the video where I cut these joggers, you actually see that the 2 inches we added on the 2 inches allowance we added on the side of the joggers is actually what I'm taking off right here. So after that stitching, I've actually done some work behind the scene, and I'll show you the recap now. So this is what I just do. So all the areas where I made my stitch that I needed to weave it, so I've actually gone to weave that with my overlocking machine, and as you can see, this is the result. As you can see, the waistline, and I've actually installed my size label, as you can see there. And most importantly, I've done some work behind the scene. So I prefer not to show it in this video in order not to make it too long and all this necessary stuff. I've actually skipped it. Most importantly, this the drawstring waistband, it's actually a separate video on its own. I've actually uploaded a video about how to do this drawstring waistband of a thing, so you need to go and watch this video, and you will actually find a link to that video on the screen of this video as you are watching, so that you can easily go and watch that video. As you can see, all my inside, my finishings, everything is well neat. As you can see, the drawstring waistband. Let me just turn it to the front side so that you can actually see what my results is going to be like. All right, so we are almost at the end of this video. So if you watch this video to this very part, make sure you give it a thumb, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn your notification bell. So as you can see, this is the front side of my joggers. So this waistband of a thing, you need to learn how to do it. As you can see, this waistband, as you can see, it is turned from the inside out. You really need to watch that video because a lot of secrets has been divulged in that video. All right, so as you can see, all my my zipper pockets, everything is actually everything is actually leveled. All right, so as you can see that. So now let's proceed to the next step of this video. The next step is how you can actually fix your ankle band. All right, so I'll just turn it to the inside. As you can see, I'll just turn it to the inside, and I will do that right now. So the very first thing you need to do on your ankle line is to first of all know the exact measurements on your ankle line. All right, so this is what I'll be doing now. I'll be measuring my ankle line, and the ankle measurement here is 6.5. all right, 6.5. To get the accurate measurement, I will be subtracting 1 inch from that, 1 inch, so that will give us 5.5. Then I will add extra ½ inch sewing allowance, so the measurement of this ankle band will be 12. So as you can see that it is lay flat, that is where we have 12 inches. So if I fold it into 2, I'll be having 6 inches. Then the height is 5 inches, and if you like, you can make yours to be 3 inches. Sometimes I use you can make it to be 6 inches. Sometimes I use 6.5, depending on how wide you want it to be. So I'll just place this on each other, then I will run my ½ inch sewing allowance stitch. So after running that stitch, so I'll be resulting at 5.5. So that 5.5 will actually give me 11 inches. All right, so and for the ankle measurements, the ankle measurement is 6.5, so that is 13 inches, right? So the exact deduction I just did there is 2 inches. All right, so on the fold it is 1 inch, on the flat lay it is 2 inches. So the next thing to do here is to start installing our ankle band into the ankle line of our joggers. All right, so I'll just the very first thing you need to do is to grab one of the ankle bands, and you just open it like this and open the stitch area just like this. Make sure it is very flat. All right, then fold on each other just like this. It's very simple, bro. So as you can see, so after that, the next thing is to insert it into our, let me do the second one just as I did on the first side. So just open it flat, then fold it on each other just like this. All right, so I will now be installing this into my joggers. Right, so just place it just like this. So I'll be placing the joining area of my ankle band and the joining area of my joggers just like this. As you can see, make sure the join area actually align on each other before stitching. Right, so that's what I'm just doing now. Then I'll be stitching with ½ inch sewing allowance. All right, so just like that. So I'll just tuck it into the ankle line, then I will drag it. I'll make sure I drag it to meet the end point of my ankle line. Make sure you don't drag more, and make sure you are not dragging less. Make sure it is evenly distributed. If you actually drag more or you drag less, your ankle line, you will experience some kind of wobbles and some gallops will be there, and it's not gonna be well presentable. So you need to drag it to meet the end point of the ankle line of the joggers, and make sure you run your stitch as straight as possible. All right, so I will just do the second one just like this. So I'll make sure the joining area of my ankle band match up with the joining area of my joggers. As you can see, make sure they are well aligned on each other. I just lay it like this. Right, then I will do the same thing. I'll start my stitch right there. So the same thing we did, I'll make sure I drag this ankle band to meet the end points. So the secret right here is when you're actually cutting your ankle band, you need to cut on the elastic side of it. All right, if you made a mistake and you cut on the stagnant side, you're actually not gonna experience the drawing side of it, so it won't draw. So you need to cut on the drawing edge. All right, so that is just it. Just run my stitch with ½ inch sewing allowance, and after that I will go and weave out all the edges of this ankle band. Then I will come back here and show you the result. But before showing you the result after we weave, so let me show you the result of what we have right here before going to the weaving machine. Let me just pull off let me pull out one of the legs, and let's see what we have so far. This is it. As you can see, it's actually making sense, right? So this is it. As you can see that it is evenly distributed, and it is, I would call this a level joggers. All right, it's very, very level. All right, and this is the international standard whatsoever. So now I'll be going on to the weaving machine and do some overlock on the ankle area. All right, so this is the second leg. As you can see, they are they are making sense already. So we are almost at the end of this video, and make sure you give this video a thumb. Make sure you like this video, subscribe, and I'll be going right on my weaving machine right away, so to weave all those edges. All right, so let's go. So now I've done the weaving and all that, so I'll just trim off all the flying threads, and we'll be showing you the results of what we have so far. So if you watch this video to the end, make sure you give this video a thumb, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell, so you can even share this video to anyone you think they might need this kind of information. So let's see from the inside. Let's see from the inside, all the finishings and all that. Everything is actually neat, and this is a boutique ready joggers whatsoever. As you can see, the waistband and everything actually level. As you can see, the size label, everything has been fixed, and it's really making sense, right? It's making sense. So let me just turn it back to the front side, and let me show you some few details on what we did so far. As you can see the slits at the back of the joggers. As you can see the slits, as you can see the pleating, the pleats. All right, so the zipper pockets actually level. All right, look at this, the invisible zipper flyer. This is an international standard joggers, and you really need to watch the video of where I show you on how to cut the joggers. All right, so we've actually come to the end of this episode, and if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumb, subscribe, and share this video to whosoever you think they might like this information. And make sure you drop your comments whatsoever, any comments you think you have, drop it in the comment section, and I'll make sure I reply to those comments. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for skipping log all the way through the beginning of this tutorial to the end. So I say a big thank you to you all, and until next episode, peace out.